Welcome to the May edition of Core Connection. I'm Patrick Bloodgood, and this month we take you to California to look at some training involving helicopters and boats, as well as the alternate care facility mission. We go to Arkansas to reopen flood-damaged facilities and get a look at flood fight training. We also have an important water safety message out of West Virginia. Meanwhile, in New York, we look at a breakwater and a shoreline risk reduction project. We also check in on some research our Engineering Research and Development Center is working on. And finally, we take a look back at Earth Day. All coming up on a packed edition of Core Connection. With USACE assets across the nation having variously sized watercraft, they can provide a unique training experience for our federal partner agencies, as was the case when the U.S. Coast Guard needed to perform boarding by helicopter training with bomb-sniffing dogs in San Francisco. Our San Francisco district brings us that story.
Today we're going to be working with a Coast Guard helicopter, and we're going to be lowering down bomb-sniffing dogs to the deck of the John A.B. Dillard. It's a training exercise that coordinates both the air and surface asset to be able to get the dog and the handler comfortable with what they're doing. And so we'll be providing that asset as if we were a vessel of interest to the Coast Guard. The training we receive is how to operate with a helicopter, which is, although they make it look rather simple, it's not. There's a lot that goes in behind the scenes, and we will understand if we need to work with a helicopter, a Coast Guard helicopter, in an emergency situation, what each crew member is supposed to do. I believe the biggest benefit is working with other agencies that deal with emergencies. In the time of an emergency, an actual emergency, you don't want to be second guessing what their capabilities are. I know after working with them how to contact them, how to speak to them, how to make sure that we can conduct operations between the two units safely.
We've been talking about Los Angeles District's alternate care facilities mission for the past few episodes. This past month, they finished up the construction work, and Brigadier General Paul Owens got a chance to tour one of these facilities, which are helping the nation battle the COVID-19 pandemic.
Hello everybody, I'm standing here today in what used to be a parking lot, and this is in White Memorial Hospital in Los Angeles. So on December 31st, we got a call and we got asked to help out the city of Los Angeles in assessing several sites that they were considering to help deal with the increased response to COVID. So we're here about 3 months later, not quite 3 months later, and I'm proud to be sitting in this facility where we went from assessing 12 sites to conducting detailed engineering assessments of 7 sites. We awarded contracts for 3 sites that are in construction right now, and this is one of those sites. And a pretty incredible job by a whole team of players that have made this happen. First, the Los Angeles District responded. You know, when you get a call on December 31st, I don't know what you were doing on December 31st, but I was watching some football, and our guys ran to the sound of the guns and worked really closely with the city to help react quickly to an emerging need. And so that's a great job by the Los Angeles District to get this mission rolling and be there as the consistent element of delivery all the way through the end of the project. So the other people that have been greatly helpful with this, this is in partnership with FEMA. This project is in partnership with FEMA and the state of California. The state of California identified a need. FEMA worked the process for us to bring us on board and allow us the funding to help build this particular hospital and facility, and it's just going to be a great partnership between the state of California, FEMA, and the Corps of Engineers to get this done.
Yeah, this is a whole government approach, working with U.S. Army Corps of Engineers, California Department of Public Health, the California Office of Emergency Services. What we've seen today is just a great example of some of the steps we needed to take to ensure that we fight against COVID-19. We saw throughout COVID-19 that many people were affected, how hospitals were over capacity in their ICU. This hospital is a great example of how we've helped to alleviate a lot of those issues with the help of the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers.
Now within the Corps of Engineers, the Omaha district has played a really large role for us too. We've used rapid contracting initiatives, the Rapid Development Initiative contract from Omaha district that allowed us to quickly move from an engineering design into construction. And again, all this has happened in the span of 90 days, and we're standing on a place that was again a parking lot, and now we have a hospital for 80 beds, staff, and all the supporting facilities. So this amazing, incredible effort to get to where we are today is going to be complete. You know, the COVID threat is still out there, so they can respond to this, but there's also vaccination potential site usage for this location, so this is going to be a facility that's going to be well needed and well used by this community and this hospital. So at this site, we're excited about delivering this project to the hospital and make it ready for their use. And I just want to say again, great job by a combined team, a federal team, a state team, and a USACE team to get this done.
Turning our attention further inland, the Little Rock District continues to reopen parks that were damaged during the 2019 floods along the Arkansas River. Cherokee Park near Morrilton, Arkansas is the latest facility to return to full operation.
Hello, I'm Park Ranger Tom McMillan, and we are here today to reopen Cherokee Park in Morrilton, Arkansas. This park was severely damaged in the historic spring flood of 2019. Total repairs to Cherokee Park were over $400,000.
I'm Bill Briggs, and I'm one of the rangers that services Cherokee Park. As the waters came in, it took the campsites and just devastated those. So all the structures, all the gravel, all the fire rings, all the pedestals and infrastructure were completely gone. We had to rebuild that from scratch. We had to rebuild ditches, we had to rebuild culverts, we had to put in lots of infrastructure to keep the water running off so that when it rains like today, we don't have major flooding events. We are ready today for visitors to start showing up. The park looks beautiful, the grass is cut, the trees are looking nice. It's time for everybody to come out to Cherokee Park and start recreating again.
Cherokee Park is located on the Arkansas River across from Lock and Dam number 9. The McClellan-Kerr Arkansas River navigation system is turning 50 years old this year. With the installation of the navigation system came a lot of recreation opportunities. Cherokee Park was born out of that.
We've made a lot of updates to Cherokee Park, but one of those is a cashless reservation system. You know, historically, we had an honor system here, and as a first come, first serve with an honor vault where you used cash. Nowadays, because of some of our new infrastructure, it is all through recreation.gov. Every site is reservable, and you must go to recreation.gov to make a reservation before occupying.
The Little Rock District is no stranger to fighting floods, as was highlighted in the last story. District personnel conducted training last month to make sure they remain ready for the next time waters leave their riverbanks.
I'm Jim Marple. I'm the Chief of Emergency Management for the Little Rock District, U.S. Army Corps of Engineers. Today we were doing some training with our sandbag machine, running through about 30 personnel from across the district. They actually operated the machine, setting it up, tearing it down, doing all the maintenance on the machine. We also conducted training on flood fight authorities, all the flood fight response actions during a flood event. And we also went through all of our materials, equipment that we utilized during flood fight responses, and allowed people to actually put their hands on them. All right, so if you want to slide up here and take a look, what do you notice first when you look down in it? And just gives them that good 25,000 foot flyover exposure to the emergency response for the Corps.
Even when water isn't wreaking havoc, it can still be dangerous. An average of 10 people drown every day. And what was intended to be a nice relaxing day at the beach, river, or lake can turn into a tragedy in a matter of seconds. Our Huntington district has an important safety reminder for anybody who is going out on or near the water.
Hi, I'm Colonel Jason Evers from the Huntington District, U.S. Army Corps of Engineers.
The Army Corps of Engineers is the nation's leading water recreation opportunity provider, and as such, water safety is critically important to us. Most people think that they don't need to wear a life jacket if they don't intend to enter the water. The problem with that thinking is that most people that drowned never intended to enter the water. So be safe and wear your life jacket. Before you push off in your boat, ensure everyone on your craft has a U.S. Coast Guard approved personal flotation device, and wear it. Remember, life jacket worn, no one mourns.
Reducing risk to communities is a major program throughout the United States for the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers. The next series of stories cover a few projects USACE is working on to reduce the risk of water to local communities. In Western New York, the Buffalo District continues work on the Sodus Bay, New York East Breakwater Project, which directly protects Sodus Bay from Lake Ontario's wave action, and significant damage would result to onshore structures from failure of the breakwater.
Hi, I'm Tori Tondra. I'm a civil engineer with the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers. We're out here in Sodus Point, New York, working on the East Breakwater project. Over here, over my right shoulder, is a contractor working on placing some armor stone. We've been working on this project since October of 2020. Right now, the completion date is looking at late May of 2020. The project consists of 500 linear feet of stone revetment. That includes bedding stone, underlayer stone, and then finally armor stone on top. So basically how this revetment is being built is a layered geotextile fabric to avoid any erosion happening underneath it. And then on top of that comes the bedding stone. On top of the bedding stone is the underlayer stone, and the underlayer stone will come roughly halfway up the slope. And then the armor stone will go towards the bottom, and then coming up to the underlayer stone, but not quite going over it. USACE Buffalo District is proud to be working on projects all along the Great Lakes, decreasing erosion and improving infrastructure. The project completion date for this project is scheduled for May 2021.
From Western New York to Eastern New York near New York City, the New York District's Rockaway project continues to take shape as they work to reduce the risk of damage to this coastal community from the waves of the Atlantic Ocean.
The U.S. Army Corps of Engineers New York District is increasing efforts to complete the East Rockaway Inlet to Rockaway Inlet and Jamaica Bay project in Far Rockaway, New York. The project runs from Beach 19th Street to Beach 149th Street along the Rockaway Peninsula, and also includes elements of Jamaica Bay. The project area was hit hard by Hurricane Sandy in 2012, prompting the district to place 3.4 million cubic yards of sand that restored the project to its original design profile. The project required additional replenishment following a series of nor'easters in March 2019. The district then placed another 348,000 cubic yards of sand to fortify the project in order to protect the community. Today, the Corps is making excellent progress executing the next phase of the project. The current contract consists of multiple beach improvements for Rockaway and was awarded in June of 2020 to H&L Contracting LLC for $113.9 million. Currently, two types of armor stone are being delivered to the beach to enable the construction of stone groins. Groins are stone structures that are meant to slow down natural beach erosion. 2 groins have already been completed, with 12 new groins on the way, and 5 more groins to see a complete overhaul. Other beach improvements consist of reinforced dunes and dune crossover work for access to the beach from the street. Sand replenishment will also occur concurrently with the groin construction. Old timber pier structures will also be removed from the project area. Groin work is expected to resume throughout the year, with future contracts to be awarded. More sand placement will also occur, as well as Jamaica Bayside improvements, which are currently in the design phase.
Staying with the New York District, the district played host to cadets from West Point who visited USACE's Greenbrook, New Jersey Sub-Basin project, where the future Army officers got a first-hand look at a complex civil works project.
Each year, the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers New York District partners with the U.S. Military Academy at West Point to give engineering students a chance to see real-world examples of the types of projects the Army carries out for our nation. This year, about 40 civil engineering majors took to the district to see Corps of Engineers projects in the region and simulate how they would handle and manage such projects. Cadets took on the challenge of reducing flood risk and damage to critical infrastructure in Greenbrook, New Jersey, as well as other locations nearby. Cadets learned about the challenges many urban municipalities face with flooding. Cadets helped simulate the installation of flood walls and levees, as well as a box culvert for cross drainage under a critical commuter rail line. Cadets also looked at models of how certain flood risk measures could lead to induced flooding and how to avoid those risks. New York District will continue to partner with the U.S. Military Academy at West Point to ensure that our future Army leaders are ready to tackle the engineering challenges our nation will face in the near future and beyond.
Moving from those learning engineering to those who are researching advancements for the future. USACE's Engineering Research Development Center is researching how long airfield pavements will last with newer military aircraft using them. And they have developed a process that doesn't involve these aircrafts having to constantly take off, land, or taxi.
Today we are evaluating an AM2 airfield matting system with a Navy P-8 Poseidon aircraft load. We have a relatively new airframe that's been modified for the military, and we do not have any criteria to let us know how long the matting system is going to last before it fails. The P-8 Poseidon is actually a Navy sub-hunter aircraft. It's the one that goes out and flies over the oceans looking for enemy submarines. That mission has been around for a while, but they've moved it to a new airframe. And this airframe is pretty heavy. It's got 2 wheels under each landing gear, and because they're so close together and have a very high tire pressure, they actually cause a lot of damage to our pavements. Airfields and Pavements has been doing this type of work since the inception of airplanes as weapons of war in the 1940s. So what we do is measure how fast it takes an airfield surface before it fails in terms of numbers of passes. Well, why is that important? Because our military operators need to know how long an airfield is going to last when we go and build it. So behind me is the Heavy Vehicle Simulator, -A for airfield version. It's a giant machine. It can put hundreds of thousands of passes on a pavement in a very short time. So basically we can put 20 years worth of traffic on any kind of airfield surface in a matter of a couple of months. It will help us know how to design new pavements when we know this aircraft's going to operate there. So we may have to change the thickness mainly of the asphalt or the thickness of the concrete for new designs supporting this aircraft. Or if we're evaluating an existing airfield that we already have, we will be able to let the owner of the airfield know how much reduction in life that they may get when they bring this airframe to an existing airfield. This is a very exciting opportunity for me because I've been working with these matting systems for the last 15 years. And this is the first time ever we're using this HVS machine to evaluate a matting system. The neat thing about it is you get very consistent and controlled operations of loading on the test section. It's a little bit different than our manual load carts. So we can, with a computer, control in those positions so we can get more refined experimental results. So we're really excited about looking at the future of using this machine to rapidly evaluate new systems that we're currently designing. So we can really understand how this aircraft performs on pavements so that we can basically rewrite the textbook on the performance of this aircraft on our airfields.
It's May, and we may be warming up, but ERDIC's Cold Regions Research and Engineering Laboratory was keeping it cool last month as they were looking at how different types of military equipment maneuver in various types of snow in northern Michigan, all in an effort to better prepare for fighting and moving supplies and troops in cold weather climates.
We're here at the Keenewa Research Center in northern Michigan, studying the mobility characteristics of different types of military vehicles in different types of snow and extreme conditions. This analysis will help us determine which snows are traversable, which can be traversed by multiple vehicles traveling in a convoy, and which are impassable and cannot be traversed. This information will enable maneuver commanders to have a greater understanding of the battlefields on which they fight. This will also enable more effective logistics and lines of support for soldiers who are already forward in the fight.
We're here at Keweenaw Research Center studying winter vehicle mobility. It focuses all-season impacts on vehicle mobility, and we're studying in a harsh winter environment. U.S. military has been fighting in the desert for 30 years, but now we have adversaries in northern climates with well-known winter capabilities. So therefore, we're studying mechanisms and processes involved in vehicle mobility over snow and ice and even deep snow to develop models and predictive capabilities for mobility in winter environments.
Our final segment for this May episode takes a look at Earth Day, which we celebrated last month. The Southwestern Division Commander, Brigadier General Christopher Beck, talks about the division's efforts to be environmentally conscious.
I'm Brigadier General Christopher Beck, the Commander and Division Engineer of the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers Southwestern Division. While caring for our environment is a daily commitment, today we join billions of people around the world to celebrate Earth Day. Earth Day was established in 1970 and has grown to over 190 countries around the world and over 1 billion participants. Each year a theme is selected to help focus the efforts of this worldwide celebration. This year's theme is Restore Our Earth. There are many things people can do to help restore our Earth, and it starts in your immediate environment. Simple things like cleaning up a park area, planting trees, clearing a hiking trail, or recycling waste can help restore our Earth. Simple efforts can make a big impact that will last for years to come. One of the environmental restoration efforts that we do as the Corps of Engineers is make sure our water resources are healthy. We do that by surveying for native species. Today we're at Lavon Lake in Wiley, Texas. We often talk about the routine maintenance of dams that we manage, but there's a great environmental restoration effort that is part of our maintenance. These restoration efforts help us ensure we are managing and maintaining a healthy water source.
Recently, the Stillen Basin of the dam here at Lavon Lake went through a dewatering exercise and inspection. A team of engineers drained the water out of the Stillen Basin to inspect the floor of the basin and the structure to ensure the integrity of the flood risk reduction features. Simultaneously, a team of environmentalists worked in a partnership with staff from the Texas Parks and Wildlife, Texas A&M University, to inspect the basin and downstream shoreline for aquatic resources such as native fish and freshwater mussels. Discovery of these native resources indicates the overall health of the aquatic system. This restoration effort is very important to make sure our projects are protecting the people in and around the lake from flooding and making sure their water source is healthy. During this survey, the environmental team was able to remove and relocate over 850 native mussels.
We take great pride in protecting and maintaining the integrity of our natural resources. While the efforts are daily for many people, Earth Day is a great opportunity to educate and share with others how they can take care of and restore our Earth. While we celebrate Earth Day today as being the largest civic observance in the world, I encourage you every day to do your part.
That wraps up another edition of Corps Connection. Thanks for watching, and we hope you found this episode informative and entertaining. I look forward to bringing you another edition of Corps Connection next month, but until then, I'm Patrick Bloodgood, and this has been Corps Connection.